Hi and welcome to all the racing lovers around the globe joining us for this pre-recorded show, recorded early doors on Friday morning for the Saturday meeting, the big meeting in Cape Town, and that's of course the World Sports Betting Cape Met, and that is for 5 million rand. So really looking forward to a tremendous 12 race program, and joining me on the line, the resident expert Graham Hawkins. Welcome to the show, Graham. How are you doing?
Thank you, Sheldon. Yes, I'm doing really well. Looking forward to a grand day's racing, and the weather is certain to play ball. It's going to be nice and warm at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. The track is likely to be running fast, and there's not too much wind about.
Right, let's get into the business, and there are 3 jackpots on the date. So no, race number 1 is the opening leg of the first jackpot at 11.50, an early start over 1100 meters. And just taking a look at the early betting, Graham, the money's all for number 3, Claire de Lune, from 4-1 down 15-10. The filly taking on the boys and taking on winners after being runner-up in her first 2 starts to date.
For me, a banker in Jackpot 1, I'm very much in the camp of number 3, Claire de Lune. I cannot believe she was priced up originally at 4-1. As you say, she's a filly taking on the boys. But with the scratching of number 10, Trail Finder, we're down to 10 runners, 7 fillies and 3 colts. So the fillies could well dominate, although parental guidance is probably the next best selection. So very firmly in the camp of number 3, Claire de Lune. I think she brings the best form into the race. She's got number 8, parental guidance, held on their run on King's Plate Day, where she finished second behind Black Cheetah, and parental guidance ran third. I think the extra 100 meters will be further in the favor of number 3, Claire de Lune. So short and sweet for me, number 3, Claire de Lune is probably, for my money, the best bet on what is obviously a very tough and challenging day's racing. So we're going to banker number 3, Claire de Lune in the opening leg of Jackpot 1. I expect the favorite to get off to us all to a winning start.
Jumping into race number 2, which will be bar pot 1, leg 1, 12.25, race number 2. It's over 1,600 meters, the Main Chance Farms Majorca Stakes, grade 1. And we do have a packager, so let's go straight to those reruns.
She's got 5 lanes to make up as the pace completely falls away, and Red Palace ended up in front. Raskova the inside, double Grand Slam chasing down. So too is Rainbow Lorikeet. Then came Sarkiu's next best. Red Palace under the outside, but now double Grand Slam came alive, and double Grand Slam charged away in the Cartier Paddock Stakes. Double Grand Slam, much too good. Second went to Red Palace. Third place, Raskova.
Shot away, went 2 or 3 lanes clear. But where the bomb, Mon Petit Cherie, Gimmy's Countess, is starting to low fly on that inside, but it's Fatal Floor. Fatal Floor got away, went 2 lanes clear. Gimmy's Countess is in second, but it's Fatal Floor. It's the blonde bomber, Pierce Striker Stratum, that are going to beat Scarlet McCall. Third, very close. You've got some...
So there we've had a look at the replay of the 2 fancied runners. And number 4, Double Grand Slam, opened 12-10, shortened 9-10. Picked up that grade 1 last time out when winning over the 1,800 in the Paddock Stakes. And then you got number 7, Fatal Floor, who won the grade 1 Cape Fillies Guineas. So Graham, race number 2 over the 1,600 meters. You throw in number 2, Raskova, who will be better back to the 1,600. We're in for a mouth-watering contest.
Renewal of the Main Chance Farms Majorca Stakes, the 2 3-year-olds who ran 1-2, as you mentioned, in the World Sports Betting Cape Fillies Guineas. Fatal Floor won then, beating home number 6, Scarlet McCall. There's no reason to believe that number 6, Scarlet McCall, can turn that form around, so Fatal Floor does emerge as the leading 3-year-old candidate. While chatting, though, about the 3-year-olds, number 3, Rockapina, is certainly interesting. She's got very good form. She's by the sensational One World, but she's never stepped up beyond 1,200 meters. She's out of a 4-to-1 mare. She could be even better over 1,600 meters, but we'll have to sit on the fence with Rockapina. She's undoubtedly a classy filly, but let's go with the proven horses over the trip. As you've mentioned, Raskova will be far better suited to the 1,600 meters. There's never been much to choose between Raskova and Double Grand Slam over 1,600 meters. Maybe Double Grand Slam as a 4-year-old has taken another step forward, but the pace here is going to be interesting. Her who's going to go forward? Raskova go forward or Fatal Flaw go forward? I expect Raskova to go forward. The pace might not be as quick as it was in the Paddock Stakes when Double Grand Slam came from way back to win, going away in very impressive fashion. So yes, Double Grand Slam is the obvious first choice. I make number 2 Raskova my second choice. I'm expecting the 2 4-year-olds to perhaps have the edge over the 3-year-olds, number 7 Fatal Flaw and 6 Scarlet McCaw, but I can tell you there's a lot of confidence in Fatal Flaw coming out of the Brett Crawford yard. So pace makes the race. It's going to be interesting. As I said, over 1,600 metres. It's a different race to the Paddock Stakes, which Double Grand Slam won emphatically. She does look the one to beat. The betting suggests that. The form book suggests that. But I think it's going to be a lot closer than it was in the Paddock Stakes. Raskova, I do think, is a big runner, and we've got to respect the 3-year-old. So 4, 2, 7 and 6, my top 4, nothing. It's a small field. There are only 7 runners. The way I'm going to play this quartet, just to maximise minimum spend, is going with the 2 4-year-olds to run first and second, so 2 and 4 by 2 and 4. I'm going to then throw in Rockapina for a possible place, so 2 and 4, 2 and 4 by 3, 6 and 7 by 3, 6 and 7, and maybe that way for a minimum spend in a race where the quartet's not going to pay a lot of money, you can capitalise.
Then moving on to the opening leg of the place accumulator, race number 3, the Tsogo Sun Summer Fling Stakes, grade 3 over 2,000 meters. And Saki sidestepped the second race to go for the 2,000 meter event. And she has tried blinkers once before, I think, when she ran behind Princess Keller. That last run way below ability, and I see the blinkers have been refitted.
Look, Saki is the key horse in the race, but her last 2 runs have been really, really disappointing. Penultimate run went 4 to 10. She was last of 5 runners. Yes, not beaten too far, and the pace undid her. But she was particularly disappointing again in the Paddock Stakes. But that is a Group 1 race. She's down to grade 3 level. So you cannot ignore the chances of number 2, Saki, because on best form she'd be the natural selection here. But she doesn't inspire too much confidence coming into the race. I do think that Candice Bass-Robinson holds a very strong hand with numbers 7 Rainbow Lorikeet, and for me the overpriced number 9 Gold Poker Game. I've got a feeling she's going to be a player in this grade 3 contest. So my top 2 choices would both be from the Candice Bass-Robinson stable. Rainbow Lorikeet, who's much improved as a 4-year-old. She brings solid form into the race. She's the top choice ahead of a lesser fancied stable companion, number 9 Gold Poker Game. But you've got to have huge respect for the Kaberga Raider, number 6 Joy and Peace. She's won 8 times from only 19 starts. Richard Ferree regards her very highly. You cannot ignore number 6 Joy and Peace. She's going to have a role to play in the outcome, so she goes in as my 3rd selection. And then number 2 Saki. There are obviously others with chances. Give Me That Pearl and Time for Love, Fatal Gem. It's an open race. So in Jackpot 1, having banked it in the first leg, I'm going to throw the field into this, the 3rd leg, because you can narrow down the second race as well. So as far as Jackpot 1 is concerned, I'm going to put the field here, but the place accumulator opens here, and I'm going with numbers 6, 7 and 9.
Graham, just an interesting observation which I just picked up. You know, we study the 12 races, you go through everything, and I've just picked up Saki. The 3 runs in the wet, she's absolutely fluffed her lines, and her last 2 runs have been in the wet, and then you go back when she ran 9th behind Silver Sanctuary. So perhaps the good going could turn it and be the key to her winning this race.
That you could be bang on target with that assessment, Sheldon, because there's no doubt that Saki is the best filly in the race. There's no doubt about that. She's comfortably clear on the best weighted column. It just depends whether, as you say, maybe the good ground, the fast track will be in her favour. Maybe they'll run her a little bit more freely. And if Saki were to win this, I would certainly not be surprised, because she is, after all, the best filly in the race.
We then move on to race number 4, and race number 4 will be the opening leg of the Pick 6. So for all those Pick 6 players out there, 13.35, and sure to be a nice pool there. 2,800 meters is the trip. It's a grade 3 event, and just looking at the betting, number 8 Poets Warrior is 22 to 10 from 3 to 1. Number 7 Triple Time is at 9 to 2. After that, we have number 1, Mucho Dinero at 6-1, and number 4, King Pele, has shortened from 10-1 down 6-1. How are you structuring around race number 4, Graham?
I'm going to narrow it down to 4 runners. As you mentioned, this is the first leg of the pick 6. We have a 2 million rand carryover. They're expecting a pool of 10 million. Now, on this show, we were big on King Pele's last time out at a huge price, and he did us proud on King's Plate Day when winning the Chairman's over 2,500 meters. He only carried 50 that day. For me, he was the obvious choice, but he was totally ignored in the betting. This is a much tougher test for him at these weights. Obviously, Mucho Dinero is weighted far more favorably here than he was then when running third. I'm not sure what to make of the Highveld Raider, number 8, Poets Warrior. There's no doubt that he's decent. There's no doubt that he stays. There's no doubt that he's a solid front-running type. He's had to travel down here. How he's going to fare at his first attempt at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth is anyone's guess, but clearly there's a lot of confidence around him. 4, number 8, Poets Warrior, but I'm going to sit on the fence with number 8, Poets Warrior. Clearly, he's one of the 4 that I'll be throwing into the pick 6, but my top choice would be number 7, Triple Time. I think he's had the perfect prep. He got denied a short head in this race last year by Master Redoute. Master Redoute went on to win the Gold Cup. He's had a lovely prep. He's in a good space. Richard Faree, Justin Snaith. I do think that Triple Time is the one that they're all going to have to beat, and he's still at quite an attractive price. King Pele's, I'm not going to desert him. He did so well for us last time out. I can't turn my back on him, and I know that the stable are confident that the further he goes, the better it will be. He's got stamina on both sides of his pedigree. So King Pele is my second choice ahead of Mucho Dinero and Poets Warrior. Those are the 4 that I would throw into the first leg of the carryover pick 6. There could well be an upset, but I'm expecting the cream to rise to the top, and I'm expecting number 7, Triple Time, beaten a nose last time, to go one better this time around.
Well, there you go, looking to go one better as we move on to race number 5 over 1,400 meters, and this will be Jackpot 2, leg 1, and it is called the Winx Class 3 over 1,400 meters for a stake of 175,000. At the stage of recording, the early time, number 1, Solomon Seal, is scratched. Number 7, Captain West, is trading at 7-2. Number 10, Let It Be Said, 4-1. Number 6, The Grey King at 5-1, 7-1, and Better the Rest. Now, Graham, when I was doing the show with Brett Crawford on the line about number 7, Captain West, he said they gelded him 2 days after his last run because he was just starting to get a little bit heavy, but they're very happy with his progress and they're looking for a big performance.
Captain West is a decent 3-year-old son of One World. So he has his first run, as you mentioned, as a gelding. Also having his first run as a gelding is number 4, Makazoli, who showed terrific potential as a young horse, then kind of lost his way. But he comes back as a gelding. He ran on the 2nd of November when he ran unplaced behind Great Plains. He was gelded 2 days later. So it's going to be interesting to see how they fare first up as geldings, both number 4, Makazoli, and Captain West. So they both go into the play for me. In fact, I'm looking to narrow this down as well to 4 live runners. My top choice, though, will be number 10, Let It Be Said. I think he brings good, honest form lines into the race. He's only got 52 to shoulder. Yes, he's drawn out a little bit wide, but I'm going to go with number 10, Let It Be Said, as my top choice ahead of the 2 3-year-olds, 4 Makazoli and 7 Captain West. But you'll be foolish to ignore the chances of number 6, The Grey King. He bounced back to form when beating Solomon Seal last time. Before the scratching, Solomon Seal was going to be my top choice because he would have been drawn in pole position, but that's academic now. You can't leave Richard Faree and Justin Snaith out of the play. So 10, 4, 7, and 6, my top choice being number 10, Let It Be Said, who will be ridden by JP van der Merwe, also for the Justin Snaith outfit. Justin Snaith, of course, many runners on the day, and he could have an absolute wonderful 2025 World Sports Betting Cape Town Med Race Day. Makazoli also from Justin Snaith, so he's got plenty of backup. But yes, Captain West, he's certainly entitled to his position at the top of the boards. Both he and Makazoli make their first appearance as geldings, and it's going to be interesting to see how they go. But Let It Be Said, for me, only just, not with a great deal of confidence.
On to race number 6, and this is where you're going to need a compass to try and find the winner. They are betting 5-1 and 11-2 the field. So around about 11-2 the field, race number 6 over 1,200 meters. And just looking at your place accumulator, you're going in with a quartet of runners.
Yeah, look, this is tough. At one stage in the anti-post market midweek for this year's renewal of the Olympic Duel Stakes, they were betting 7-1 the field. There has been a little bit of movement here and there. Let's cut to the chase, because each and every one of these runners has a chance to a degree, but we haven't got the time to dissect them all. So Nordic Quest for me offers very good each-way value, jumps out of pole position. A reminder that on the evidence of recent meetings, we can't forecast what exactly is going to happen on Saturday as far as a potential track bias is concerned. But I'm always leaning towards the horses drawn on the far running rail until proven otherwise. So for me, both Nordic Quest and Berry's Boogie are very much alive, jumping out of gates numbers 1 and 2. Now, Nordic Quest is obviously the 4-year-old carrying 58.5, and the improving Berry's Boogie is a 3-year-old with just 52.5 on her back. So they are, for me, amongst the principal runners in the race. Number 1, Nordic Quest, and number 2, Berry's Boogie. 8, Summer Lily. Definite chance, possibly the elect of the Justin Snaith team. Then you've also obviously got to think about horse like number 13, My Sensation. Also only got 52.5 on her back. She seems to be at her best over this kind of trip. They did try her around the turn over 1,400 and 1,600 meters, but she was a good winner last time out over Miss World, when Miss World was strongly fancied. And I think there's more to come from number 13, My Sensation. So I think, although drawn towards centre outside, I think she's going to be doing her best work late. Candy Town, of course, is interesting. She also did us a very good turn on this show in winning at big odds on the 4th of January, beating Questioning, but she was in receipt of a lot of weight. That was over the minimum trip. She's very, very fast. Whether she gets home over 1,200 meters with 60 on her back, only the race will show. You've got to give honourable mentions to number 5, Mia Moo, to number 10, Kailami Girl, and to number 11, Sidley, but we can't include them all. So my top choice, as you said, I've gone with 4 runners in the place accumulator. Nordic Quest to me, my top choice ahead of number 8, Summer Lily, 13, My Sensation, and number 2, Berry's Boogie, who could run very well from that inside gate off a low weight.
Right, that'll take us on to race number 7. As I put my equipment changes on, I got my headgear on, the blinkers fitted, and also the binoculars for the 1,000-meter sprint, which is the Hong Kong Jockey Club Cape Flying Championship Grade 1 for R1.5 million. And we do have a replay package of Dice, Gimme a Prince, and a Sia Pambile.
Gimme a Prince, and between runners is Sivungu Vungu. We're inside the final 200. They found across the track. Sergey in the middle. Gimme a Prince down the inside. Bertoldi. Rio Karori is absolutely motoring home into the closing stages. Gimme a Prince. Rio Karori with one late lunge to the wire. Gimme a Prince from Rio Karori. Is Sivungu Vungu behind.
Bereave Bartoldi, then Mufasa 2 off the inside. Captain Arrow got 3 lanes to make up. Then came Rio Karori at the 300. Thunderstruck, Dice, Sergey, Bereave throws his weight around. He's getting into the race as well. They followed by Mufasa, and then came Mr. Cobbs. Thunderstruck taken on now by Dice, and Dice towards the inside. Move forward with authority. Dice over Thunderstruck, and Dice wins the Grade 1 Whirlpool Cape Flying. Dice the winner over Thunderstruck. Bereave ran into third.
Then comes Miss World with I'm So Pretty, and Summer Lily trying to run on, but Candy Town shot away when 4 lanes clear. Sia Pambili's doing the chasing. Sia Pambili's coming hard now at Candy Town, and Sia Pambili wins going away. Sia Pambili beats Candy Town. Third will go to Summer Lily, and then came Miss World.
Well, this is going to be fast and furious. 1,000 meters the distance, and we have the cream of the crop running here. Joint favourites numbers 4 and 6. Number 4, Dice, and number 6, Gimme a Prince. They're both 6-year-olds. The one a William Longsword, the other a Gimme the Green Light. And their records speak for themselves. Dice is a 10-time winner from 21 outings. And Gimme a Prince, he's won 6 of 15 to date. He's unbeaten course and distance. Graham, this 1,000-meter sprint, I think, is going to be an absolute cracker.
Mouth mouth-watering contest, the Hong Kong Jockey Club World Pool Cape Flying Championship. But just a reminder that the World Pool races are 6 through 12. So the first of the World Pool races that will be race 6, which is the Olympic Duel Stakes. So for the latter half of the card, we could expect massive win, place, swinger, exacta pools, and so on. It's going to be absolutely massive. This race is intriguing. Of course, Gimme a Prince won this race in 2023. Dice won this race in 2024. They represent the best of the best. Give me a Prince. My worry with him, Sheldon, is that in recent times he's being trained to go 1,400 and 1,600 meters. He was a cracking third in the Lormrans King's Plate over 1,600 meters behind one stripe just 3 weeks ago. And whether he's perhaps lost that early speed, as you say, he's won his only start over track and trip, and that was when winning the 2023 K Flying Championship. Dice is the defending champion after going back to Johannesburg after beating Thunderstruck last year. He kind of lost his way, but then they gelded him. They put Pierre Stadium in the irons, and he won 3 on the bounce before running a creditable second behind Golden Sickle, giving that very fast filly weight. So Dice, for me, definitely sets a standard ahead of number 6, Gimme a Prince. They are my top 2 choices. I'm trying to narrow this down in the same way as we did with the fillies race, because once you start to overthink it, overcomplicate it, you can get a little sidetracked. Many of these horses are not at their very best over 1,000 meters. Many of these horses have earned their ratings over distances beyond 1,000 meters, but there's no doubt that Dice is very competitive over 1,000, and Gimme a Prince on his earlier form also very competitive over 1,000 meters, but it does come with the caveat that in recent times he's been running over further. Lucky Lad is one of those that would probably be much better suited to 1,200, but he's certainly worth a mention because he's a high quality horse in his own right. Questioning for me is very interesting. There are a few that are as game and consistent as he is. Definitely would be better over 1,200 and 1,400 meters, but he's been trained specifically for this race, and he ran a super race in the Winchester Cup and King's Plate Day over 1,000 meters when running second to the to the Flying Candy Town, giving her 10.5 kilograms. So I think at 14 to 1, questioning offers a terrific each way value. The filly Asia Pambili, she's one of my favorites in training, but I think she's up against it here. She faces a much tougher task. Would I be surprised to see in the money? No, I wouldn't. A horse flying under the radar is Bereave. He suddenly found form again, went third behind Candy Town and not too far behind questioning. We mustn't forget that Bereave ran third in this race, the Cape Flying Championship, behind Thunderstruck and Dice last year. So he is capable, despite his 7-year-old being a 7-year-old. He's certainly capable, but he's not drawn on the right side of the track if recent trends are anything to go by. Of course, Cruise Control, Sergey, these horses, Cafe Culture, they've all got chances, but I've narrowed it down as far as I can. My top 5 would be, in order of preference, number 4, Dice, ahead of number 10, Questioning, number 6, Gimme a Prince, 13, Asia Pambili, and 15, Bereave. But I wouldn't be totally shocked if the winner came from outside of that quintet, but I am expecting and hoping that the cream comes through and the class tells in this year's renewal of the Cape Flying Championship.
Well, then the big one, everybody will be looking to fasten their seatbelts, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride, is race number 8, the World Sports Betting Cape Town Met Grade 1 for a stake of 5 million rand over the 2,000 meter trip. And in race number 8, we do have 2 reruns for you, and it's of Oriental Charm and Rascallion, both winning.
Charm. Flagman's running a big race. Royal Victory. Tlatloui's running on. See It Again's on the inside. Trying to close in Future Swing. Flagman with an explosive finish. Green with Envy's getting into it. And down the inside. Yes, Cousin Casey flying. Cousin Casey on the inside. Oriental Charm. Oriental Charm from Cousin Casey. Royal Victory.
Purple and white. Then came Without Question and Triple Time. Needs a bit of luck in running towards the final 200 meters they go. Rascallion matched by Magic Verse. Up the inside is Litigation. They followed further back by Otto Luke and Magic Verse with a narrow lead. Litigation, Rascallion, Try Hard. Magic Verse all out. Rascallion likewise. Here's the line tight. Rascallion or Magic Verse, it's a photo. Then came Litigation.
Well, the Brett Crawford stable with number 3 Oriental Charm, watching that Hollywoodbets Durbanville victory, absolutely sensational, proving his worth. And this is a horse JP van der Merwe they've built up a tremendous relationship with, and certainly a horse that you've got to throw into all of your calculations. Now, Graham, when it comes to this event, this is the race everybody in Cape Town wants to win. They've prepped their horses, and if everything goes smoothly in the transit, it should be one of those races that it could go right down to the wire.
Very competitive. It is a weight for age race over 2,000 meters, as you know, so theoretically it should be fairly simple to spot the winner, or at least establish a viable shortlist, but it's not that easy. We do have a quartet carryover, 500,000 rand, so that's a bet to try and catch here. Are you in the camp of the 3-year-old number 10, 8 on 18, or are you not? Well, I certainly am. I was so impressed with One Stripe's sensational victory in the Lormeron's King's Plate when he put the older horses to bed, and many of those are running here, admittedly over a different distance. The question, of course, is will number 8 on 18 stay? Justin Snaith is confident he will. Richard Fourie is confident he will. So I'm throwing my eggs into the 8 on 18 basket. I'm going to go with the younger horse. But there are, of course, others with big chances. Rascallion comes into the race with terrific form, and he ran second in this race last year and is very much alive. You've mentioned number 3 Oriental Charm. I think we can forgive him that one bad run. It was his second after arrest and things went a bit awry for him in the King's Plate. He's much more comfortable over 2,000 meters. He's got a nice draw, so expect a big performance from number 3 Oriental Charm. Those would be my top 3 choices. Future Swing could get into the money. He's not particularly well weighted, but I think he's in a very good space, and I think he's had a very good prep. So in terms of trifectas and quartets, and in particular the quartets, because of the carryover, I think Future Swing is a player. Montine is interesting. He ran a cracker when second in the Lormeron's King's Plate. There is some doubt as to whether he gets home over 2,000 meters, but you never know. He's a big, strong galloper. He's brave, he's resolute, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Montine make his presence felt in a very big way and finish up in the top 4. So those would be my top 5, with a clear preference for the 3-year-old. A leap of faith on my side, and many others fancy him as well, and he is the ruling favourite. So 8 on 18, my top choice. Once you look beyond that, the battle for the minor money, if he's indeed comes through to win, it's going to be intense. Red Palace, the only filly in the race, jumps out of pole position and obviously on best form has a claim. Litigation wasn't too far behind Rascallion last time, and neither was Magic Verse. See It Again is the problem horse in the race. He ran diabolically in the King's Plate, and I really don't quite know what to make of See It Again. I'm happy to pass him by this time, and if I'm forced to have mud on my face, I'll be the first to congratulate them, because I'd really love to see It Again bounce back to his best form, but quite what to expect, I'm not sure. It's a very, very interesting renewal of the 5 million rand World Sports Betting Cape Town Met. You've got to take a stand somewhere. You've got to take a view, and I'm taking a stand that the 3-year-old with fresher legs, still on the upgrade, on his performances behind One Stripe, and given One Stripe's glorious victory in the Lormeron's King's Plate, I'm happy to row in with 8 on 18.
Right, scratch number 9, Green with Envy, unfortunately. And then last time out, number 12, See It Again. They reported that he had heat in the knee the next day. So Michael Roberts reported that he had heat in the knee. So let's see It Again, if they've been able to do the work, get him back to his best. And let's see It Again, hopefully do himself justice and the connections. As we move on to race number 9, and this is over 1,800 meters, it's grade 3, scratch number 6 at the early time of recording, so you can take out number 6. And looking at this event, number 11, Garrix, is a horse who's really on the improve, is drawn out at 11, but with the scratching of number 6, Pinot Grigio will come in 1 barrier. Now, Graham, when you look at this race, the structuring of the weight says number 12, Sail the Seas at a 91, number 5, French Flame at 89, and then you've got Wild Intent and Dawn at Till Dusk at 87, and Garrix at 86. So, best weighted column, number 12, Sail the Seas, but are you with Garrix or Sail the Seas?
Well, of course, they met last time out over 1,400 metres, and but Garrix was so far behind from that wide gate. It was amazing that he was able to finish up in 5th position. He was still 13th at the 400-metre mark. The worry with Garrix, let me say at the outset, he is my top choice because I think we've all been excited by Garrix. Firstly, he's got to go the extra 400 metres. The other thing is I think he desperately needs gelding. He gets himself a little bit overworked in the preliminaries. So obviously from all the exotic bets perspectives, it's too late to wait to see how he looks in the preliminaries, but he can get himself a little warm. Sail the Seas has won over 1,600 metres as well as his impressive 1,400-metre victory last time out. He has won 4 of 7, so he's clearly very, very useful. Richard Ferree rides number 9, Regulation, who is a 3-parts brother to Bulgarian, who performed well in the Politician Stakes of his year before going on to win the Durban July. So Regulation, well-bred, and no doubt that number 9 Regulation will be comfortable over the 1,800 metres. Another interesting run is number 8 Major Master. He won over 1,400 metres last time out, and the pedigree suggests the further he goes, the better he will be. And then there's the handsome grey number 4 Zeitz. You can't fault his form. Is he up to this class? We'll have to wait and see, but you can't help feel there's a lot more to come from number 4 Zeitz. Final analysis, I'm going with number 11 Garrix to beat home number 9 Regulation, then number 8 Major Master, 12 Sail the Seas and 4 Zeitz. That quintet could hopefully be enough to get you through the final leg of the carryover pick 6 and also the first leg of jackpot 3.
Right, that'll take us on to the next event as we step into the territory of race number 10, which is the Schweppes Class 4 over 1,400 metres. It's an open benchmark. It's 60 kilograms, which equals 80. So let's have a look at race number 10. And looking at race number 10, 1,400 metres the trip. Graham, I'm going to hand the baton straight over to you, and then I'm going to give you my roughie in the race once you've dissected the race.
Okay, cool. That sounds like a great idea. Look, the key horse in the race, drawn wide, but the key horse in the race for me is number 13, Iconic Destination. I say that because early in his career he ran second to Dave the King and second to Charles Dickens. At that point we thought, well, he has a high-class son of Gimme the Green Light in the making. But things have gone completely wrong for him, and he has had a wind-up. Now, this is his 3rd run back after the wind-up. He was given a run up the straight over 1,000 metres, clearly too short for him when he finished well behind Light Tiger. Then they stepped him up to 1,400 metres, his 2nd run after the wind-up. And what a cracking effort. Major Master had to pull out all the stops to get home by a neck over Iconic Destination. Now, if you take that form on trust, despite the wide draw, and knowing that his inherent ability is probably a lot higher than the 81 that he's running off, Iconic Destination could be the right horse in the race. 10 Please Be True is the one on form. He comes out of that same 1,400-metre form line as Garrix does, and Sail the Seas and a few others. And he was also very, very unlucky there. If you watch the replay, his run was interrupted on more than one occasion. He has his 3rd run after a rest, 3rd run as a gelding. So number 10, Please Be True, is my top choice ahead of number 13, Iconic Destination, because you've got to have that slight question mark about Iconic Destination as to how he's going to perform and whether he'll maintain his form. King's Quest is worth a mention. Commanding is worth a mention on the basis that he ran second to Garrix last time out. The roughie in the race could well be number 7, Unicorn Alert, and 3, Green Garnet comes into the shortlist. I'm sure I haven't yet mentioned your roughie, so fill us in.
Number 2, Scalini, at around 40 to 1 and 50 to 1 available. I had a chat to Vaughan Marshall about his other runners on the day, and this didn't fall into the feature race category, but I've just got a sneaky suspicion that he could be a nice outsider around 40 and 50 to 1. Earlier on, he was running in the merit rating 102s as a 96, the 109s. He's dropped down to a 76. He has lost his form, but I believe in this company, he could be a nice roughie to throw into all your bets at 40 and 50 to 1, and maybe a nice place bet. And then number 10, Please Be True. Many years back, you'll remember, actually ran in the Rothmans July. Please Be True, trained by, I think it was Johnny Dawson.
Yeah, I remember the Please Be True of old, and I think this Please Be True may not quite scale those heights, but he's a very decent horse in his own right. So I've learned over the years not to ignore when you pick out a roughie, number 2, Scalini, from a good gate, whereas many of the principals here are drawn further towards the outside. So I'm certainly going to take your advice, heed your advice, and throw Scalini into the trifectas and quartets. But just to wrap up, 10 Please Be True, my top choice out of 13, Iconic Destination, then 6 Commanding, 8 King's Quest, 3 Green Garnet, 7 Unicorn Alert. It's a tough race. It's a tough race. It's a Class 4 handicap, and you've picked out Scalini, who, as you say, not too long ago was a 96, and has had another 4 pounds relief off his last run. He's now down to 76. So, yeah, he could pop up under that rating.
There we go. So number 10, Please Be True. We're on the same page. I believe that is the horse to beat. But number 5, Scalini, at around 40 and 50 to 1 if you shop around. Certainly not going to start at that price when it comes race time. Moving along to race number 11 over 1,400 meters. Now, Graham, number 13, Snow Pilot, is obviously the talking horse. He's rated a 1-2-2, and he has found the bulk of the support down 9-10. Are you strong on number 13, Snow Pilot, or have you got something that's going to give him a run for his money like number 11, The Real Prince?
Look, Snow Pilot logically has got to be the first choice, despite the fact that he's drawn out wide. Am I strong on him? Not as strong as Justin Snaith and Richard Fourie are. They won't hear of defeat. They believe Snow Pilot to be their best runner on the day, perhaps after Claire de Lune in the opener for Justin Snaith, although Claire de Lune doesn't get ridden by Richard Fourie. Richard Fourie really likes double Grand Slam as far as his rides are concerned. Obviously 8 on 18 and Snow Pilot, these are the 3 that he picked out when being interviewed. I'm not as bullish, but clearly his 1,400 meter form recently is outstanding. He goes forward at a terrific pace. Obviously he may not get as easy a lead. There's a bit of pace on his inside. He might have to be used up a lot more than in recent times to get to the front, but no doubt he will get to the front. So what are the dangers? You've mentioned one of them. There's a lot of confidence around for number 11, The Real Prince. He'll be flying home in the closing stages. All out for 6 is a decent 3-year-old. Rapid Dash comes in with a bit of a chance. Mer Capitano is interesting. All of his recent form is down the straight. He steps up to 1,400 meters. He could relish the step up in trip. He's got a good gate of 3, and certainly comes into the trifecta and quartet calculations. Now, the horse that I fancy, you fancy Scalini at a big price. This one's not quite as big a price, but I mean, his course and distance form speaks for itself. 5 starts, 4 wins. Drawn in pole position, 1 Sugar Mountain. Last time out was drawn in the bush in the Premiers, over 1,800 meters. Steps back in class, steps back in trip to his favorite trip. And I think you can expect Sugar Mountain to run a much better race. Clearly he's not as good as Snow Pilot, and meeting Snow Pilot at level weights is not going to be easy, but he's drawn in gate 1 and Snow Pilot is drawn in gate 13. So that's a little bit of a leveler. So Sugar Mountain is going to be sort of central to my play as far as the trifectas, exactas, swingers and quartets are concerned. 13 Snow Pilot, yes, my top choice because he is the obvious horse. He's a short price favourite. I'm not as strong on him as I say the connections are. My second choice would be number 11, The Real Prince. Then number 1, Sugar Mountain, who I think is set to run a big race. And 4 all out for 6 will complete my top 4. But interesting horses, Mer Capitano.
Well, I'm with you on Sugar Mountain for the top 4, so maybe take a place double, Scalini and Sugar Mountain. Maybe take that place double. You could get probably around about 20 to 1 if you shop around. And Sugar Mountain, of course, ran 3rd to Oriental Charm, who won the Hollywoodbets Durbanville July, and earlier ran in the Met, 5th behind Double Superlative. So certainly Graham could be onto the value there. Now let's move on to what they call the lucky last, and hopefully Graham will all be sailing into race number 12. And I'm going to start straight off the cuff with my roughie, which is number 2, Tough Terrain, and also number 7, War Chariot. They both opened up around 10 and 12 to 1, and I've decided to have a bet on both horses each way. Tough Terrain has now shortened 8 to 1, and War Chariots at around 10 to 1. I just believe that they've been taking on a little bit stronger in the past. Can you have Tough Terrain and War Chariot?
There's not a single horse that I draw lines through here. This is certainly one of the tougher races in the card, and a tough end to a competitive and challenging day's racing, which is going to be full of high quality and class action. But this is interesting. If you get the quartet here, remember this is this race also forms part of the World Pool race, the 6 through 12. It's over 1,200 meters. I think this is wide open, so I wouldn't put you off Tough Terrain, and I certainly wouldn't put you off War Chariot to bring some decent form into the race. The US of A, a lot of confidence coming through from Robert Bloomberg, the owner, and jockey Richard Faree. They're expecting a big run from number 14, the US of A. Last time out was his first after a spell on the sidelines. He was injured and has recovered. This will be his second run after rest. That might be a bit of a query. Another query might be the fact that he might, I say might because we can't forecast what the track bias may or may not be, but he might be drawn on the wrong side of the track. But there are so many with chances here. Earn Bell D is interesting because he's also had a wind up. And I was chatting to Justin Snaith, and he was very pleased with that run behind Tenango, which was his first after a 7-month absence, and he's expecting another step forward from number 6, Earn Bell D. For Cork Bay, I think you could forgive him. His last run is better than that. I'm concerned that Empire State is stepping back in trip, but he's a decent sort and can get into the mix. Kariaku and Cavalry Commander, what you see is what you get. Who knows what to make of number 12, Scottish Kiss, who won his maiden by more than 7 lengths, and he could be on the rise. Number 12, Scottish Kiss. The more we go on, the tougher the race gets, because it's that kind of a race. Rouge Jaroon takes a huge step up in class, but brings decent form into the race. My roughie for a place is number 1, Sun Dazed. He's drawn on the rail side, the inside rail side. His last 3 starts have all been drawn towards the outside. He runs on really well in all of his races. He gets lost in the early stages. We were on him last time. They put blinkers. That didn't work. The blinkers come off. I'm prepared to give him at huge odds. I think he's 50 to 1. I'm prepared to give him another chance, and certainly I've already had a nice place bet on number 1, Sun Dazed, because in a race like this, I think he can get into the top 4. So it's very, very difficult, Sheldon. So I wouldn't put you off Tough Terrain. I wouldn't put you off War Chariot. My hesitant top selection will be number 14, the US of A, recognizing it's his second run after rest, recognizing that he's drawn perhaps on the wrong side of the track, but nonetheless he gets the benefit of the doubt. But number 6, Earn Bell D, could well be the key horse in the race.
Well, excellent. That's race number 12. Throwing number 1, Sun Dazed, at around 50 to 1 into the trifectas, swingers, exactas, quartets. Number 2, Tough Terrain, and number 7, War Chariot. And if those horses happen to run first, second, and third, and you find another 40 to 1 shot, that quartet could pay an absolute rocket. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the line, Graham. Looking forward to this big race meeting. Last but not least, we're going to bring up your suggested bet for the day, so if you can take us through that, please.
Well, I think obviously the place accumulator, this race card sets up nicely for a place accumulator. We end off on our perm a little bit thin, but let's hope we get it all right. First leg, race 3 off at 1 o'clock, 6 Joy and Peace, 7 Rainbow Lorikeet, 9 Gold Poker Game, 6, 7 and 9, recognizing that number 2 Saki is the best in the race, but her last 2 runs have been below par. Second leg, numbers 1, 4 and 7, Mucho Dinero, King Palace and Triple Time, who's my top choice. Third leg, numbers 4, 7 and 10, the 2 3-year-olds having their first run as a gelding, Makazoli and Captain West, along with number 10, Let It Be Said. Then we have the wide open Olympic Duel Stakes as the 4th leg, going with numbers 1 Nordic Quest, 2 Berries Boogie, 8 Summer Lily and 13 My Sensation. Then the Hong Kong Jockey Club Whirlpool K Flying Championship, going with the 2 leading Lights for Dice and number 6 Give Me a Prince, backed up by number 10 Questioning, who would be a lot shorter in the market if it was 1,200 meters, but he's as honest as the day is long, and he's been primed for this race, so I'm expecting him to certainly make his presence felt. Then a big leap of faith, I'm bankering in the place accumulator number 10, 8 on 18 in the World Sports Betting Cape Town Met, and ending off with 9 Regulation and 11 Garricks in the Politician Stakes.
Well, thanks very much, Graham, and have a wonderful day's racing, wherever you will be, on course or at home watching. Have a terrific day.
We'll definitely be on course. Wouldn't miss this for the world.
Thanks very much to Graham Hawkins. We'll definitely be on course, and hopefully the horses are on track for big performances.